Okay, there we go. We're fine. Everything's fine. We're here. We're live. I'm just going to check to make sure we're live, Matt. Hi, how are you this morning, Matt?
You know, I'm great. I'm fired up. It's great to hear you. Great to see you. I'm annoyed this morning because I get up and the first thing I get are people angry with me because I came home last night at 11:30 and for the 503rd consecutive time doing the daily juice. People are like, "If you're so tired, don't do the juice." What do you mean, don't do the juice, people? Like this is what I do. Okay, so my goodness gracious, I go to a fight, hell of a fight last night, really fun. Ugh. I mean, what do you want, guys? Like, I have to do different things. This is part of my life, my work.
People are complaining that you did the juice, but you were too tired? Is that what it was?
They were mad because it was a 10-minute edition and I didn't go in depth into the picks. I just gave them the 3 picks. I didn't do the full breakdown like I normally do because it was 11:30 at night and we get up this morning at 7:30 to come right around and do this live stream. So I had to go to bed and get it done. And people were like, if you're so tired, why don't you just not do the juice? That'd be so yeah. Hi,
welcome
buddy. To Sunday.
All right, we have several things to discuss.
Oh yes, we do.
Let's start. Okay, first of all,
how about our bet? Let's go into our bet.
Oh, we'll get into our bet in a second. I like a lot of games this week. The fact that you're coming to Boston and you don't ping me and are like, "Hey, man, you got like 10 minutes to come out and meet me and hang out."
Now I do. Well, hold on. I mean, I haven't told you this, but now I do. I did not because I was going to be literally in town for 3 days, and so, but now I'm going to be in town for not going to be in town, but I'm going to be on the East Coast for a week. So now I actually have some time. I actually changed my itinerary, so I do actually have time. So I was going to talk to you off air about because you're coming back on the weekend, seeing what you're doing and where you're going to be. So we'll have an off air conversation. But yes, I will be around to now actually say hello face to face for the first time in 2 years.
This would be lovely. It would be exciting. Okay. Second, I want you guys to, I'll repeat this a couple of times. We're doing a new giveaway. All right, here's the deal. I don't know how many subscribers do we have, Matt, in our YouTube channel? Probably pushing 7, maybe.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
7,000. Yes.
I want 10 by the end of the year. Now that's a big goal. That's a big goal. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to give away a signed Saquon Barkley helmet just for subscribing. Just subscribe. Okay. That's all you got to do. I'm going to put up a link. It's going to be up here coming forward, but we're going to push it, Matt. All you got to do is subscribe. You don't even want to watch us? Don't watch us. I don't know why you wouldn't. You don't want to watch anything? Don't watch it. Just subscribe. Win a Saquon Barkley helmet. If you like anything that we have ever done, that's the goal. Pushing through. Just subscribe. If you want to comment, by the way, right now, which I will answer questions right now if you guys do, you have to be a subscriber to the channel. That's all you got to do. Very easy. Click the subscribe button. Before we get into the games, let's also say our bet. Matt is justifiably high on the Patriots. I have been unnecessarily fading them for a little while right now and been massively incorrect. Matt and I made a bet as to whether or not the Patriots are going to win a playoff game, not make the playoffs, which is I'm not going to say a foregone conclusions, but extremely likely. They're playing very well. They deserve it. But whether they win a playoff match, the only thing I saw was some sort of odds from the Times or whatever that had it at 50% for them to win a playoff game. I gave Matt plus 150 on the bet. Okay. Matt made a bet. It's plus 150. So if Matt wins, he wins 1.5 units or whatever you want to say. If I win, I win the unit. So that's it. So just so you know, you can let us know in the comments whether or not you think that's a good bet. But I think that the Patriots are not going to win a playoff game. Matt thinks they are. That is our personal bet.
I am telling you, everybody, so many people are sleeping on the Patriots, and I love it. I just keep on snoozing on the defense when the weather turns cold. And I'll say this, if that game's in Foxborough, they are playing as physical as anybody in the NFL. Their offensive line is protecting and giving Mac Jones the time he needs. And Matthew Judon right now is the defensive player of the year.
He's incredible. NFL. He's playing incredibly well. I don't want to take anything away from them as much as I've been fading them, and I like to tweak you because I like to get you riled up. They're playing incredibly well. Mac Jones has been very impressive. Their running game is great. The offensive line is, as a run blocking unit, is fantastic when they're fully healthy. And the defense is playing lights out. Totally agree.
They could be 10-1.
If they win, they could be. If they win the division, I'm gonna basically mail in my bet. I'm gonna understand that if they get that home game, I'm probably done. But if not, if they got to go on the road to wherever, KC, maybe, we'll see. Anyway, all right, let's talk it through, Matt. We got a lot of games today. Got a lot of props to go. A lot of fun stuff. why don't we start with what's your favorite game, Matt, this week? What's your favorite side this week that you're betting?
My favorite side this week. I don't have a favorite. I like all three of the bets I've made the same.
Okay.
I think probably Saints +3 right now is probably.
Is it all the way? Oh man, it's all the way up to 3.
Yeah.
Why has it moved that much?
Because people don't like what's happening. This is a public move, and it's everyone looking at that Saints team and saying they're on the road. It's cold weather, dome team, Philadelphia. But if you dig into the numbers really deep into Philadelphia, one, if they can't run the football, they can't move the ball. Yep. And you're not running on the Saints defense. And this is not, I don't care who's playing quarterback for New Orleans. I don't care that Kamara's out. I know, Ingram playing is monster. He's got to have a big game, but I think he will. And I think the rush defense for the Eagles is not great. And I think the rushing offense for the Eagles, if they are all on Jalen Hurts and he has to throw the football, that's where that secondary goes ball hawking and turns the football over. I think the Saints win the game outright today. Yeah,
I think so too. Hold on one second. Sorry. I think so too. I'm surprised it's been moving this way, Matt. It was 1.5 early on. Is it Kamara? Is it just that the public's hammering in on the Eagles?
Yeah, it's a public move, and I mean, there's not a huge liability being built up at the moment, but I think this is a case of the public getting lost in no Kamara being there and looking at the offense as a whole and saying, okay, this Saints team is not going to be able to move the football, and I disagree. I think they can run the ball down the throat to the Eagles. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, but I think just like last week where they lost the game by 2 and got screwed by the officials. I think that the Saints are going to be right there with a 3-point margin one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm putting this guy, by the way. King Queen mentions that I've been in a slump. It's a fair point. Certainly in the BettingPros podcast, I went 0-3 last week. What's weird is it's true. It's true. It's fine. It's true. But I was hot for a while. Been a little cold. It's okay. No big deal. But what's funny is that last week, Matt, the picks I didn't give out, and I should probably tweet them out. I do them on the app. Against the spread, I went 8-3 last week. Like, that's the thing. Like, but
you faded my Patriots. I told you not to.
You're absolutely right. I did, and I faded them on Thursday. Which is
I told you not to do. I told you not to do as well. I told you on both bets. I said both bets are bad. Don't do it.
Matt, is this a Wong teaser potential? Is the spread? Is the total for that Eagles game under?
Yes. There is a play I like better than this one personally for the Wong. But yes, you can absolutely tease the Saints and have it go from +3 on the road to 9. And I don't mind it. I did it last week. It was the one leg of the Wong that I hit. The other leg didn't hit. I've missed back-to-back weeks for the Wong teaser for the first time this season. But that is, I mean, it qualifies as a Wong as of now.
Yeah. Okay. I like it too. I have some hesitation, I think, because I have an irrational love for the Eagles, even though they don't deserve it. Probably because I have like a very small, very juicy wager there for Nick Sirianni for Coach of the Year, which if they win this, they might be able to go on a little run against the East. We'll see where it is. But yeah, that's a good one. I also am on the Saints as well. Do you want to just go through the games, or you want to list a couple of your other plays that you like?
Well, I mean, as I said, I am. Well, let's talk about this one because I think this game is interesting. I have Washington +3. Once the number came down to 3.5, I realized that it's a pro move on Washington, and I wish I got over 3. I wish I got 3.5. But here's the thing. When Cam Newton came in last week, and this is a lot on Cliff Kingsbury and a lot on the Cardinals, because I watched that game, the entire game, and it was 7-0 early, and it was like, okay, they had a decent start to the game, and then Nick Sirianni, and then Cliff Kingsbury just totally panicked and goes forward on 4th down on his own 40-yard line, misses it. They bring Cam Newton in again, and everything just it was an avalanche. So now everyone's assuming this Carolina Panthers team, now with McCaffrey and Cam Newton starting, that they're going to be this like force. I don't see it personally, and I know the analytics are pointing to the Panthers being a really good team, and if they had just like average quarterback play, they would be a tremendous football team. But I don't mind the injuries here. I think Washington's offense is going to be able to run the ball and move the football.
Yep.
I like Washington to win the game outright today, but I'll take the 3 points with Washington.
I don't know if they're going to win the game outright, but that's the side I'm on, Matt. Like I've placed basically almost a taste on every single game this weekend. And it's I don't have like crazy leans on a ton of games. A few I feel pretty strong about. This one is a weak one, But I kind of agree. I mean, I could see this going horribly wrong with no Chase Young. You know what I mean? I could see it going really horribly young. But I do think that they're going to be able to put up some points, by the way, which let's go right into my first proppy. Christian McCaffrey over 46.5 receiving yards. So everybody, by the way,
I want receptions.
Okay, go both.
Now
let's go both.
Yeah, but see, my number's gone, which I'm really pissed off about because I had 4.5. It's 5.5 now. It's juiced. I got it at 4.5. I was going to ask you what the ruling is on this because the number I played is gone. I got it last night, and the number's now all the way to 5.
You didn't give it out, right?
No, I was waiting. I didn't think it would move. I didn't think it would move a full entire reception. Like isn't that a big move from 4.5 to 5.5?
Are you getting plus money now?
No. Oh yeah. Now it's even money or plus money on over 5.5.
I mean, they do that. The one thing I'll say, Matt, is I see books reacting more and more to props. Now, as people start betting them a little more on the online books, especially, you know what I mean? It moves. You go plus money, Matt. I think he is going to factor in very heavily here. And by the way, people are always like, Cam, blah, 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 blah. Dude, look back at what Christian McCaffrey has done with Cam Newton as his quarterback. There are a lot of dump offs. Like it's been, before he had the monster, crazy thing. Like Cam dumps it off to McCaffrey. I'm telling you. So I think this one in a game where McCaffrey can get tons, if he doesn't get hurt, I am like very confident. I'd be okay. If you're getting plus money, Matt, I'd be okay with 5.5. Okay. But I like the receiving yards as well. 46.5. That is where I'm going.
I'll take them both. I'll take 5.5 and over 4. I mean, I always hold one out just to take one of yours, and I'll take the McCaffrey over 46.5, and I'll take over 5.5 receptions for McCaffrey. I'm with you. Cam Newton, if he throws the ball down the field, he's in big trouble.
Yeah, I don't buy the I'm healthy. Like, look, I got rest now. I'm fully healthy, ready to go. Like we've seen him throw for years at this point, where you're like he lines up, and I'm telling you, Matt, we talked about it last year. The way I described it is like, again, I used to play tennis a lot. It's very much of like it looks like I'm hitting it topspin. Like it's like the ball comes out and then just kind of dives down, and it's just not there. He doesn't want to push downfield. They don't have to push it downfield probably in this game, right? You can get it there with the running and the dump offs and everything like that. So 46.5 receiving yards. That's my official prop. Looks like you're coming with us. Let's talk about. All right. Do you want to talk about your Circa plays, by the way? Is that an easier way to do it? All right. Do your Circa plays. I want to know where you went this week.
All right. So we as a group, we have been struggling. So what I did this week, I said, you know what? We're going to stop doing, the conversation, and we're going to allow one user. And I had on our Discord chat that we do every Saturday morning for our Discord bet, which by the way has lost 4 times in a row. So it's not good, but they've lost a lot of my money, but I let them pick a play and I let them go ahead. We talk it out. And a lot of the picks that are recommended hit. So it's a fun conversation because it's not just about the one pick that ends up winning with the popular vote, but actually just like some plays that pop people point out that are really, that do hit consistently. But I let D Nizzy, if you guys are on the Discord channel, I just said, hey, I listed 1 through 5, and I had someone pick a number, and it was 4, and that happened to be where D Nizzy was. So his card is what we use today for the Circa. So it's Colts +7, that's Dolphins -3,
yes,
Saints +1.5,
okay,
Vikings +1.5,
yeah,
and the Giants +11 on Monday night.
I can't get behind that. I understand, and they should be pretty healthy. So I get that as a numbers play, but I can't get there I can't touch the Giants game. That's like one of the games that I've actually almost entirely stayed away from. But if I had to go, I'd go the Bucks. Do you think is that a play that you like, Matt?
I mean, the whole narrative about Brady in primetime is a little bit of a joke. So, I mean, I think the better play and one play I might look to make, I'm going to try to tease Monday night with Sunday night probably.
Okay. Yep.
And not, I want to try to stay away from teasing totals. I've been reading a lot. I've been watching myself a lot. On my same game teasers that I've gotten wrong this year, it's rare that I get the side wrong. It's consistent that when I lose, I get the total wrong. So I'm trying to stay away from teasing totals. And I've read a couple different articles, and there's a great Captain Jack article that's out there on the internet about do not tease totals because of he breaks it down better than I can. But so I'm trying to stay away from that. So I'm trying to do a Sunday night, Monday night teaser. But so I don't mind pulling this number down and giving, going to +5 under a touchdown for the Bucks.
Okay. All right. That's fine. All right. By the way, I have put up right now, bettingpros.com/helmet. You want to sign Saquon Barkley helmet? All you got to do is subscribe to the channel. That's it. I'd like to get past 7,000 on this live stream right now. If you are here and you want to please do it for sure. Matt, I am going to give you my favorite bet right now.
Okay. Ooh.
You are going to hate it. I'm telling you. Maybe it's not my favorite, but it's one that you might be on the other side of it, or it's going to be a total stay away for you. I tell you what, I'll throw it out here like this. The Chiefs are at home laying 2.5 to the Cowboys. Do you have a lean either way on that game?
I did until the Amari Cooper situation. And I did. This is a stay away for me because of the injury concerns. I think having Clyde Edwards-Helaire back off the IR, I keep on saying this about the Chiefs can't run the football, but with him back, they will be able to run the football. I think if he plays, and I haven't seen if he's active or not, but if he's in that game,
chances are he's gonna play. Yeah.
Yeah. If he plays, I think the Chiefs are the side.
If he plays, you think the Chiefs are the side, and you felt differently before the Amari Cooper.
Before Cooper out and Edwards-Helaire in, I liked Cowboys.
Okay. All right. I am on the Chiefs, and I like the Chiefs a lot at 2.5. I really do. I think the Cowboys are great. Matt, I think part of it is that the Chiefs, I do think they quote unquote fixed, not entirely, but I think they understood how they have to play a little differently on offense. But when you look at the way their offense was playing anyway, their offense was actually like, rated wise, it wasn't terrible or anything like that. But for me, it's defensively, Matt. Like they were a sieve defensively early in the season, right? Like they were absolutely horrific early in the season. They've quietly been better of late. And part of it is that they are healthy. Part of it was the Ingram trade. He's helped their pass rush a lot. But their defense, when you look at the metrics, Matt, and I know they've had a lot of soft matchups here. They had Jordan Love, of course. They had the Giants, whatever. But it's actually been playing a lot better of late. And again, when you look back on it, they were injured a lot, Matt. Like they had one injury every week that really screwed up the defense and screwed up the communication. It wasn't like one guy who was out for a while. I have more faith in their defense in Arrowhead, where I always sort of like lean heavily towards it. I think they win this game. So if it's under a field goal, I like the Chiefs. I bet that game. And especially without Cooper, I feel a little better about it. All right, let's go, Matt. Dolphins, you mentioned that. So it's at 3 in the contest. It's 3.5 now. How do you feel about it at 3.5?
I mean, it's okay. It's 4 now at FanDuel.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, I think people that this is a move, obviously, against the Jets, who are awful, and your team is bad. So, yeah, your team's really bad. Really, really bad. I don't like. I mean, as a Circa play, I'm fine with it, but as a bet, I don't really want to trust either one of these two teams to do anything personally. So I wouldn't put money attached to this game, but I don't mind it as a Circa play, laying 3. I would prefer 3 to 4, clearly. Yeah. But I mean, if I had to bet it, I'd take the Dolphins.
Yeah, I have no problem taking the Dolphins here, right here. I think the Dolphins have sort of, the Jets are terrible. You're right. It's a play against the Jets. But I do think that the Dolphins defense, I think what we've seen from them the last 2 games, not just the fact that it was Houston the first game and the fact that they played cover 0 and blitzed the crap out of Lamar and they couldn't adjust. Like, I think their defense is actually legit now. And again, we like their defense coming into the season. We thought it would be a plus for them. Their secondary has been abysmal, but I think they're playing a little better here. You've got Joe Flacco. I'll take it at 3.5, man. Like, I don't care. The under, somebody's asking about the under. I don't mind the under either, by the way, for this game. I don't think it's going to be a crazy amount of points or anything like that. So I'm fine with the under as well. Matt, how do you feel? You mentioned as well, the Colts and the Bills. Was that 7 in the Circa, Matt?
Correct. Yeah.
And that's where it is right now, as I can see as well.
Just FYI, I mean, 81% of the handle at FanDuel is on the Dolphins. That's why.
That's a little, I agree. What makes me, and now they did move it to 3.5. Matt, it opened at 3. They at least moved it to 3.5. But I did get a little worried with the fact that
it's 4. Is it? I mean, it's why it's up to 4. Though,
I have 3.5, and right now I have it. I don't have that at FanDuel. I still no. See, what's weird, Matt, is they must be in the process. They must have just changed it. Because I have it as off the board right now for FanDuel. So everybody else is at 3.5 right now. That's what I have everybody else. So, but if FanDuel moved it to 4, okay. I get there are a few 4 out there, a few smaller books out there.
It's a pros and Joes. I mean, both are on that side.
Yeah.
Bet count is 73% on the Dolphins for that. All right. So Colts and the Bills.
Yeah.
You have. It's 7, interesting. So it's 7. I like the Colts plus 7. Yep. You got 57% of the handle at FanDuel and 59% of the bets are on the Colts here against the Bills. I know the Bills got right last week. I understand that. And they looked good. I get it. I think, look, Jonathan Taylor has to be healthy, obviously, for this to matter. But I think Taylor can run the football on this Bills team. And the Bills are really inconsistent. And I think that this Colts team, I mean, they lose this game, the division basically is gone. Now it might be gone anyway. It might be gone anyway.
Might be.
But I mean, this is
playoffs. I mean, even playoffs, Matt. Like they have to make the playoffs.
Yeah, this is a really important. The Colts need this game, and you said, well, the Bills are getting chased by the Patriots and blah blah blah. Yeah, I do think there's some Buffalo arrogance. I do think that the Bills think that they're, and their fans as well, just think that like it's their division now, and it's like after 1 year, it's like this is our division. It's like, yeah, okay, guys, go win it first. But I think this is a 3 or 4 point game. I think the Bills could win the game, but I think the Colts defense is good enough to keep them in the game. So I like the 7.
Yeah, I do too. The only thing that worries me a little bit is the fact, of course, that the strength of the Colts defense is against the run, right? They're one of the best actual run defenses in the game, and nobody gives a shit, pardon me, about the run. I don't care. I'm exhausted. I'm just saying nonsense. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about running the ball when you're the Bills. Like that's other than Josh Allen. Like they don't care. They can attack through the air. The secondary is a little, weak for them. So that does make me nervous. But I agree it's too many points. Now, is it even worth talking about the Ravens and the Bears right now until we know whether or not Lamar's going? I mean, he's sick, obviously, and the line is crashing 4.5, 3.5 at FanDuel, Matt, is what I see now.
Yeah, that stinks. Okay, so what I bet today, and I put it out there, it's as a Wong teaser. I put this out, and it now isn't. It still is, but the line move would tell you that the Ravens aren't going to have their number 1 wide receiver and their quarterback. The line's coming down this way. And
I do. The one thing that I will say is this. It sounds like even if Lamar goes, which my guess is he'll go, he is not 100%. Like he's sick.
So I took 4.5 and teased it up to 10.5. And I really like it at 10.5. At 9.5, I don't like it nearly as much, but home dog at a total of 42.5, getting, at plus 10.5, I love. I like it still at 9.5. I like it. I don't love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it at 10. Yeah. I love it at 10.5. So that was one leg that I jumped on. And then I took the Vikings at +1 to +7.
All right, let's talk about that one. Let's talk about that one for a second. Okay, that's the one actually I do want to talk about because Matt, everything I see, every sharp bettor that I know, everybody who knows what they're doing says Vikings. Tell me why.
Look, I mean, it has a lot to do with the ATS mark from Mike Zimmer at home. I mean, he's very, very good at home. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Green Bay and Minnesota normally play tight football games. I don't mind laying the 1.5 with Green Bay. It was 1, now it's 1.5. I just think giving the Vikings 7.5 points right now with a total of 47.5 at home. I mean, this is just a straight Wong teaser. This is why the Wong teaser exists. You got a subtotal 49, home dog at +1.5. You give them 6 points. You go over 7.5. You over 7, and you get the Vikings 7.5 points at home. Back doors and everything else are wide open for Minnesota here. I mean, I don't know. Everyone says the Packers are the best team in football. Are we really buying this defense being that elite? It's good, but how good?
Yeah. No, I mean, and also, by the way, let's not forget, Rodgers' toe injury is actually a thing. Like, it is bothering him. He's going to play, but he is limited with it. Now, he's Aaron Rodgers, so he's going to be fine. But it is something that limits him. The big thing for me is like, man, I feel like there's no rhyme or reason to when the freaking Vikings show up. Like that's how I honestly feel about it. There are spots where you're like, okay, this should be a spot where they should really come out and play really well. And Kirk Cousins might look brilliant for a drive or something like that. And then they just fall apart. I'm on the Vikings as well, just because you do feel like if you take a step back, these two teams are basically even. Like they are evenly matched. They both should be 6-4 essentially, or whatever, wherever their records are. And so I get it, and they're home. But I don't know anybody who I respect in the industry who's on the Packers at this point. Like I just don't. And I'm just surprised it's so overwhelming there. I've got a high number prop here for you, Matt. This will be too high for you, but I am going with, we talked about the Chiefs and we talked about the Cowboys, and there's no Amari Cooper. It's a big number, but it's CeeDee Lamb over 79.5. That's a big number, Matt. That is a big number. And I rarely go with a big number right here. But there are going to be 35 to 40 pass attempts right now for the Cowboys in this game. Like, even if it's not the shootout, even if it's not a 6, you know what I mean? Like, the Chiefs are getting better as well against the run. Now, their secondary, it almost hurts Lamb a little bit without Cooper because he doesn't move to the slot most likely in this game, which he probably would have. He did last week a little bit with Gallup and Cooper back. The slot is a little bit better for him, I think. But he's going to get 8 to 10 targets in this game. And I think he's the one who's going to go crazy. I think Gallup's going to have a very good game too, but I really just feel much more confident. It's a huge number. I get it. People want to stay away from it. Totally get it. It's fine. I have bet this. I think it's going over. I think he's getting to more like 90 in this game. I feel pretty comfortable with it. It's a big number, but that's number 2. And again, my number 1, as I gave, was I'll give it out for people who are coming late. This is the one that I like that I think Matt is going to trail as well, which is Christian McCaffrey over 46.5 receiving yards. Again, I think there's going to be a lot of dump-offs in this one.
And we're doubling down on over 5.5 receptions as well.
Right,
those are the 2 for the juice. My third is a big number as well, so I'm curious how you feel about David Montgomery. I'm going over. I got 62.5 last night. It's now 64.5. So it's moved 2 yards. I don't really like that, but at 62 or 64.5, how do you feel about David Montgomery rushing yards today?
I've got him for 77.1. So
all right, good.
That's good. That's definitely something that will work out. Yeah, I mean, look, the Baltimore defense not what it used to be. You can pass against them a little more. So I think, again, Darnell Mooney probably has a pretty decent day here as well. But yeah, especially with Lamar limited, it's really difficult to see this game turning into a just total blowout for the Ravens. That means you know exactly what they're going to want to do. The fact that they gave Montgomery so much work coming off his injury before the bye shows that it's like, Khalil Herbert, don't worry about it. You're going to get 95% of the running back touches. So
he had 63 yards last week. So it's like he was used. It's like I heard people say, well, he's coming back off of it, but like they used him, like you said, like you mentioned, right when he comes back, it's like, hey, by the way, here's the workload. So why wouldn't that continue today? And I just think 64, 65. I think their offense is going to be David Montgomery personally. So I like him to get a heavy dose here, and I think it is going to be a lower scoring, tighter game. So I think running the football is what Chicago is going to try to do at home.
Source from Ian Rappaport: Lamar out, Lamar Jackson out of this game. That is boom. Oh boy.
Bang. Yeah. So my other team with the Circa is on the Bears at plus 4.5. Yeah. So I like that a lot. I have that teaser, like I mentioned. I teased the Bears up to 10.5. So I've got that going. Obviously, the entire game is going to flip here.
Tyler Huntley as the starter.
How fast? Oh, that number just crashed. It's 2.5. That number just completely crashed. But look, but that's why I was glad to bet it earlier this morning. Now I've got the Bears at plus 10.5. So now I feel really good about that leg.
That's right. That's how you do
I love that leg. And so I kind of lucked into that one. So that's good. Now, obviously, the other leg is going to be very important here with the Vikings. And that's, Vikings plus 7. Yeah. But I could have gotten 7.5 if I waited. But so I helped. It worked on one level. It didn't work on another. Yeah. But that's just, that's a personal teaser. It's gone now. That game total now is 41.5. Total is coming down dramatically. The game's coming down dramatically. My guess is that game's going to close at a pick.
Oh my God.
It wouldn't shock me. I mean, the Ravens are good without Lamar.
Do you have your Montgomery bet in already, Matt?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I bet you that number climbs now, right? Because they got with the spread changing, right? With the spread is going to close. They're going to know that the Bears are probably going to be able to play it a little more conservatively.
Yeah, it hasn't moved.
Run it even more. Yeah,
it's 64.5 at FanDuel.
All right.
The number in total are crashing, but the props haven't reacted yet.
All right. Props are a little slower, but we'll see about that. All right. Yeah. Very good, Matt. All right. So somebody is asking. I like that people are asking fantasy questions. Okay, I did do a fantasy live stream. I will update my rankings as soon as we're done here. Don't you guys worry. That's why I built in my hour off right after this so I could react to it. I'll pop back. Come on Discord. Hit me up with a DM. I'll give you an answer. Don't worry about it. Okay. Probably Mooney. Yes, over Bateman. Okay. So long time a listener. Oh, no, not this guy. Sorry. That was him, but here. He wants my official plays. I'm BettingPros. So I do the BettingPros podcast. I give my 3 best bets. I gave 3 bets this week. You can listen to it. You can watch it on our YouTube channel, and please subscribe. So here are my 3 bets Number one, I have the Chiefs, as I said, laying 2.5. I like that one. I'm going to ask Matt his opinion on these next couple of games, and then I will give you my pick. Raiders, Matt. They are at home against the Bengals. Bengals are off a bye. Raiders off an embarrassing loss. The Raiders are now plus 1.5. It was 1. It's 1.5. Stay away for you?
To stay away for me. I mean, I've got bets on both these teams. These are my two favorite bets for overs. So one of my teams is going to get another win for over 6.5.
Yes, I was thinking that actually when I realized they were playing each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to like not get in the way of that and not like, go crazy with it.
Okay.
But I mean, I lean Bengals on that.
Okay.
But my fear is the secondary for the Raiders. And I think Jamar Chase, I thought about loading up on Jamar Chase props and
also not bad.
They're high. They're just,
I know.
Really,
they
really
make
high.
you. They make you pay for sure.
I couldn't do it because of the numbers, but I do think that I think that Burrow passes all over them. I think he throws the football like crazy. I'm leaning towards the over in that game.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a Raider home game over. I think in the last 2 games have gone under at home, which is really weird. And it's mostly that pass rush for the Raiders has been able to contain offenses, not stop them, but contain them a little bit. I don't know about this Raiders offense is really lacking without Henry Ruggs.
Yeah,
it really is lacking. And I'm very concerned. Jacobs gets hurt too much.
Yeah.
And the offensive line is not what it once was. We saw last week with the Raiders getting after Carr like crazy and really pressuring him. So I lean Bengals, but I wouldn't bet it.
Okay, I'm on the other side. First of all, I wouldn't mind teasing this up. If it's 1.5, I like it getting past 7 personally.
Yeah.
I think a couple of reasons. Number one, first of all, I fade the Bengals almost routinely now at this point. The Bengals are like 25th in overall DVOA. I know we don't whatever, but I think it's just a good measure generally of how good they actually are as a team. Always get a little worried, Matt. Maybe this is stupid. A little worried about a young team coming to Vegas for a game, a little bit. But I think it's
Vegas flu for football has not been. Because of the COVID protocols,
it's fair.
It's not the same as it will be next year when the guys can go crazy and get let go. So I think because of COVID, it's not the same as the influence because you can't go out. I mean, you literally cannot go out. When you come here, you're locked in your room when you come to Vegas. So it's not the same.
These are the 2 reasons. Number one, Burrow's been very impressive, I think, overall this year. Like most quarterbacks, he struggles against pressure. And like most quarterbacks, he struggles against pressure when you don't blitz, right? Like that's the key to almost every quarterback, especially a guy like Burrow. That is the Raiders' specialty. Okay, put aside they didn't get real pressure on Mahomes. They didn't get any sacks. They get a ton of pressure. Max Crosby is awesome. They don't blitz ever. They're the lowest blitzing team in the entire league right now. I think that's a real bad matchup for Burrow. Second, they play a lot of, zone cover 3 defense a little bit. That's also where Burrow struggles a little bit. He's much better at man-to-man defense. So I can see potentially them struggling. This is a game. I mean, if you're Vegas, this is your season right here. You got the Cowboys and the Chiefs coming up here, 2 of your next 3 games, right? Like this is your game. I think it was you. Were you no, it wasn't you actually. What's the over under, Matt, that you have over on this 6.5?
I have 6.5. And then but the craziest bet so far this season on the Raiders in Vegas, somebody put $20,000 on the Raiders to end the year with 6 wins.
Matt, I've been hearing this a little bit about money coming in on the saying that they're going to win one more game the rest of the year and that's it. That's it. Maybe this is it, but either way, they have a really tough schedule coming up. Like if you're going to take a stand, you have to win this game. Now the Bengals too, but I don't think the Bengals are surprised to sort of be here. I think this has to be it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jackson get a little more involved here, stretch the field a little bit more. So I am on the Raiders.
Well, in that one play he had last week, I mean, he caught it, he got disoriented and fumbled.
Oh,
I mean, that was a really ugly play.
That was terrible.
But he showed that he still has his ability to get separation down the field, and he could be that stretcher that Ruggs was that they really need. Because if they don't have that ability to stretch, you saw it. You can easily bracket Waller and take him out of the game. I mean, the Chiefs just took him completely out of the game, and it was pretty tough to watch that offense play against a bad Chiefs defense. So that's what concerns me a bit about this Raiders team is that all this drama may be catching up to them here in the middle part of the year.
Matt, do you have access to BetMGM's odds right now? Can
yes.
you look them up? Can you look
sure.
up the Texans Titans for me? I just want to make sure I have it right.
Texans Titans. We're going BetMGM outside of Vegas, right?
Correct.
because their odds are different in two different.
Are they different in two different?
Oh yeah, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It should be.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah,
you can't do that. Where are the Texans? Texans 8.5.
Yeah, Matt, that's what's weird. It's 10 everywhere else. Why is it 8.5 at BetMGM? I'm seeing 10 everywhere. It's 10.5 at FanDuel. It's 10 at DraftKings.
Let me look at BetMGM.
I'm seeing
Nevada.
BetMGM at 8.5.
BetMGM Nevada is at Titan.
Yeah, Scott.
Texans, it's 10. It's 10.
It's 10. Why is it
Nevada?
8.5?
It's 10.
Why is it 8.5?
I mean, same company now. Same company.
Right.
BetMGM Nevada is 10. BetMGM. There must be. BetMGM Nevada must have taken a bet of some sort of either respected money or a large number that has caused them to react in this way. That's the only reason why they would be 1.5 off. But it's a key number point too. It's not just a point. It's a key number point.
By the way, the reason I can see that is because at bettingpros.com, I can see every book and what they have. And I just wanted to make sure we didn't have some weird thing with getting the intel from them because it says 10, 10.5, 10, 10.
So here is a report from Patrick Everson, who covers Nevada.
Love Patrick Everson. Yep.
So Patrick is quoting today from the head trader at the Mirage, Scott Shelton, for BetMGM Nevada. Titans went from 10.5 to 9.5 to 10 to 10 this morning. Sharp play on Texans plus 10.5, but all tickets and all money are all pointing towards the Titans.
Yep.
Nationally, BetMGM is reporting two-way action, 62% of the money on the Titans, but really, of the tickets on the Titans, but the money is dead even on that game. So I don't know why right now we're seeing a number. There must be a number that came in. BetMGM had to have taken a bet.
Yeah, that
caused this number to drop because they're the only ones. You're absolutely right. They're the only ones in Nevada. They're the only ones in the country who are under 9.
I know, crazy. I like the tech. This is where I was getting at. I like the Texans getting 10. I think the Titans are due for a little bit of a letdown here. I think the Texans with Tyrod Taylor
next week too. And you know what next week is?
Yes, of course.
So next week is Vrabel, Belichick. I mean, there's Patriots are on a mini bye. Like next week's big game.
So you can be looking past this game for sure.
Easy.
Also, the Titans are not an 8-2 team. And I love the Titans, right? Like I love them. I bet my first bet in that prop bet draft was Titans to win the Super Bowl at 40-1. I love the Titans. They've been doing it somehow with smoke and mirrors and stuff like that. But you look at what they look like without Derrick Henry. Like, yeah, they beat the Rams, like, of course, and they beat the Saints. Their offense is not really working. They're getting the benefit of fluky turnovers and pick sixes and stuff like that. Like, this does not strike me as a game that they're just going to go crazy with. And again, I think Tyrod Taylor, like, I get he was absolutely dreadful against Miami, but we see Russell Wilson, we see Aaron Rodgers come. When you come back from a lengthy injury, like, you're rusty, okay? Tyrod Taylor does not turn the ball over. He's a remotely competent quarterback. I think that he's going to be able to at least keep this close enough to at least get a backdoor cover. So that's my third bet for the guys who are asking. I do have the Texans plus 10. If you can get it at 10.5, it's at 10.5 at FanDuel. Like that even more, for sure.
Do you subscribe to the idea that the Titans are a bad football team?
No, I don't think they're a bad football team at all. I think I understand who says that they're a bad football team.
If you look at what they have done, that you can make a really strong case for Mike Vrabel for Coach of the Year. They have the most players on IR of any team in the NFL right now. And in a lot of ways, like you just mentioned, they're getting fluky things that are bouncing their own way. Yep. They're getting lucky plays and they're getting fortuitous penalties and things being called that has helped this team out. And that as we get later in the year, that the potential for this Titans team to fall on their face in the back half of the year, pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how good they are. That's the bottom line. I mean, they're doing this with one wide receiver, right? Like, they have nobody else with Julio Jones out, right? It's and admittedly one of the best wide receivers in the game. Now they had the best running back, essentially in the game with Chris McCaffrey out. He's out. They're doing like in fantasy again, Matt. The number of questions I got about Deonta Foreman, who is a start in this game, by the way, like crazy. It's Deonta Foreman, a guy who couldn't make any other team right now, is basically out of the NFL, or Adrian Peterson. Like, they have nothing at all. They just keep winning. There is a letdown coming at some point. Like, I don't
just win 10 games and then fall apart. That's all I care
fine.
about.
I'll give it to you.
I'm an
so
over,
hopefully
over
they win
9.5.
People are asking, should I? Now their defense has gotten better. I admit, even though they have a lack of kind of playmakers, I admit it has gotten better. But this is not the best team in the AFC. Now, I don't know who is the best team in the AFC. Don't say the Patriots. But I do think that they're not head and shoulders. Stop it. They're not head and shoulders above everybody else. Oh, look at you. I do like, by the way, given this, I'm giving another prop here because of the way I see this going. I do like Brandon Cooks over his receiving yard total at 69.5 because I do think that this is going to be a game where he is going to get a lot of work here. Secondary is okay, but not totally good. I think this is a spot where the Texans keep it relatively close. So that's where I'm going with another prop there. All right, Matt, let's keep moving here with a couple spreads. How do you feel about the 49ers are laying 6.5 against the Jags? And just listening to everybody, it's like value on the Jags, just whether or not you have the stones enough to kind of do it. That's how I've been seeing it play out. What do you think?
I think Texans and the Jags are two of the plays. If you want to hold your nose and follow the sharp money, that's where you're going to follow the sharp money.
Yeah,
the pros are on both the Jags and the Texans.
Yeah,
it's not pretty, it's ugly, but just if you want to follow the pros, they don't care about uniforms and narratives. They care about numbers, and they think this number is too high.
Yeah. I think so too. I'm not betting it. Like, there's just no way. Their defense, by the way, has been playing well. This is not the same defense that we saw earlier in the year. So I will give them that for sure. But yeah, it's not a game that I can go near. What about?
Well, I have a prop in this game though.
Oh, go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So my theory is on this is that this is going to be one of those games where Garoppolo he's not asked to do all that much.
Okay.
I think the pass rush for the Jaguars is dangerous enough that I think this is a run the football game and get out of town for the Niners. And that's why I think people like the Jaguars at home here, because they think it's going to be like a 3 or 4 point win for the 49ers.
Okay.
How do you feel about under 30.5 passing attempts for Jimmy Garoppolo?
Okay.
I got 31.5. I got 31.5 last night, but it's 30.5 right now.
Let's pull up Dan Harris projections then, shall we? Pulling it up. How many pass attempts do I have? What is the number, Matt?
30.5.
I have 30.5. That's my actual projection for it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I completely understand where you're going with it. Like, I don't have a problem with it. If I had to go one way, I mean, I wouldn't, obviously. But I would lean the under for the reasons that you're saying. I think it's absolutely fair. But I don't see the huge edge. I get it. But 30.5 is that's right there. That's right where I have it. Sorry. It's dumb.
That's wild. I mean, I got 31.5 last night.
All right, there you go.
And someone saying in the comment section that I have to give out these props early. Well, I mean, yeah, okay, I understand that point, but like, this is the point of the whole live stream is for us to get on here and tell you what we're playing.
Come here and watch a live stream. We got 400 people here. Who cares? Take the time from 11 to 12. This is what we do.
Yeah, so I understand people are like, you have to give it out early, but then that kind of totally, bastardizes the whole idea.
Also, by the way, you need as much information as possible, generally speaking, for props. Like, even one of the props I liked, by the way, coming in was Sammy Watkins this week over his receiving yards, but now Lamar Jackson's out. So I'm not, you don't want to bet that yet and stuff like that. Ready for the most boring prop that you might be like, I don't even know who this player is, but I'm going with it.
Sure.
Here we go. John Bates, the tight end for Washington. Over 15.5 receiving yards. Ricky Seals-Jones is out. Obviously, we don't have Logan Thomas here. Bates, obviously not a superstar in college or anything, not a huge guy, but they lean on their tight ends. And even when he filled in for Seals-Jones, he got work as well. I actually really like this one. I didn't put it up like early because people are going to be like, I don't really want to bet on John Bates because I don't know who that person is. But that actually is one that I like, Matt. They're going to feature the tight end as they always do. So again, starting tight end for Washington, John Bates. He ran pretty much all the routes when Ricky Seals-Jones went out. Seals-Jones is officially inactive now, as we expected. He's going to get 3-4 receptions. He's going to get 25 yards. I like it over 15.5. Just FYI, everybody, go ahead and take that one. Okay, let's keep moving, Matt. So we're going McCaffrey over 5.5 receptions. We're going McCaffrey
over his 46.5 receiving yards. We're going over David Montgomery, 62.5 yards or 64.5 yards rushing, and Jimmy Garoppolo under 31 or 30.5 yard passing attempts are my 4 props. Just real quick on, in terms of like liability, people, WinBet this morning is reporting that their 3 biggest liabilities right now, and I'm sure this hasn't changed because the Bears are number 2, but Miami minus 3.5 against the Jets. This was not one of the top ones yesterday. So big money came in on Miami late. The number now is 4, like we mentioned. Bears at +5. That number is totally cratered in the wake of the Lamar Jackson news. Now it's 2.5 and dropping, continue, but they had a lot of money on the Bears as bettors anticipated Lamar being out. So if you bet it early, you got the better number. And the Eagles now -3. Game open at a pick, and all this money has come in to drive the Eagles number up to 3. That line move, I like being against that line move personally, to be quite honest.
So one of their biggest liabilities is Eagles covering a 3-point spread.
Or
1.5, 2, or whatever.
It drove it all the way to 3. But now they're
amazing.
Their
That's
third biggest game.
What am I missing, Matt? I don't get it. To me, it's a pick'em, probably like a pick'em game. Maybe I don't know.
They've got 82% of the handle on the Phillies, on the Eagles, on Philly.
On the Phillies, nice.
So
yeah. I don't know, man.
There you go. I don't see it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Especially because it's like what the Eagles have done well of late to sort of quote unquote turn around their season, in addition to beating up on bad opponents, is run the crap out of the ball, right?
Yeah.
And Miles Sanders comes back, but what do the Saints do as well as any team is stop the run? Like, this plays right into the Saints' hands if you're going to put it back on Jalen Hurts, which, by the way, they also have a shutdown corner, and they have one wide receiver in Devontae Smith. Like, that's it. It's very bizarre to me, man.
Number is 1.5 Ravens now, and the total is 40.5.
So are you staying away from it, Matt?
I already bet it. I mean,
all right, but people here haven't. They're coming in.
I would stay away from it right now. I mean, I don't think you can go anywhere near this game. I mean, it's I don't think you should chase bad numbers. Like, don't get involved. This number was 5. It was Chicago +5.
Yeah.
So now it's 1.5. I mean, this is awful reverse closing line non-value. Like if you like the Ravens, I mean, go right ahead and jump on the Ravens. If you think Lamar being out isn't that big of a deal, and that defense is going to make life hard on fields.
Lamar Jackson being out, not a big deal at all. Nothing at all, right? Like, but you're right. I don't have any faith in the Bears. Is the problem? Like, I'd take if push comes to shove, I have to go one way. I have to pick this game with your money, Matt. Thanks. I would go Bears. Like, I just would, because there's no way I can back the Ravens at this point with this kid.
I mean, this is now crazy, because now it's like looking at for Wong teasers. Like, now it's getting a little bit kind of it's getting a little difficult here. I mean, in terms of like where you want to, like, how do you feel about the Jets +10 at home?
I don't love it. I just don't. Although it makes me feel a little more comforting, the fact that the books have so much liability on the Dolphins. That means the public's probably coming in, right, heavily on them.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt, what about the Seahawks and the Cardinals? Oh, wait, the Seahawks are now laying 3.
Yeah, wow. I mean, we took the 2 in the Circa, and on one of my Circa plays, we took the Cardinals because my partner's in Arizona, and he thinks that Kyler coming back. I mean, they got embarrassed last week. Let's be honest.
Kyler's not going to play in this game. You know that, right?
He's out 100%?
No, not 100%, but it's basically the reports overnight were there's almost no chance unless he like demands and like overrules everybody and says, I am starting in this game and you can't stop me. He's going to sit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't bet it. I mean, I don't want any part of it, money wise, but on a Circa play, the theory was that Colt McCoy will play a lot better and that the defense has to come up. And I'm not a big fan of this Seahawks team personally.
I know.
Home road. I don't think they're very good. And I think the Cardinals, I mean, they got embarrassed last week. So I know it's a tough place to play for them, but I think this is a Cardinals team that could be opportunistic. And I don't think, I mean, how are the Seahawks scoring? I mean, just against anybody.
Well, I guess it depends on if Russ is going to look like he did last week, then they're not going to be able to. But I mean, I guess that's the question, whether or not this is you came back way too quick from the finger injury. You are not healed. You are not going to get better. Or whether it was, okay, yeah, my finger was a little weird and I have to get used to it. And also it was rust from the fact that you just basically were like, okay, I got my pin out. I'm in the game right now. Like, it takes a while to get it back. So if it really depends on what Russ looks like right now. And I'm projecting him to be better, obviously, but I don't know if I'm projecting him to be peak Russ. And, I don't know, man. Gotta get, you can see what DK Metcalf can do, right? Give him the short one, let him truck some 8 dudes and then score the touchdown, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. Matt, I got the Browns when it was 10. It's now 13, obviously, with Boyle. Is it just too many points to stay away?
I mean, I don't like the Browns, and I don't think you can lay 2 touchdowns in the NFL. These guys still are getting paid. I don't care if it's backup quarterbacks or not.
Yeah.
I can't. I could not touch this game. I want absolutely nothing to do with this game.
I agree. I don't want it either. I don't like variables, and Tim Boyle is a variable for me because I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with him at all. We touched on pretty much every game. I think the only game we haven't hit on at all is the Steelers and the Chargers.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And like so this is while we're talking, this is what I'm trying to figure out because this game qualifies as a Wong teaser, and so you could take the Chargers down to a pick and take the Chargers to win. Do we trust the Chargers to beat the Steelers today?
I tell you, my problem with it, Matt, is, and this is really simplistic, and so if people want to yell at me or disregard this, that is fine. History has shown us in the Mike Tomlin era that there are Mike Tomlin spots where you fade him, and there are spots where you buy him. And this is as much of a buying spot as you could have for Mike Tomlin. The issue I have is whether or not his rah-rah, no one believes in us, we are underdogs on the road, can overcome the fact that their defense is decimated right now, right? You've got no Minka, right? He's out with COVID, right? You've got no Watt. It's really hard for me to see them winning this game, Matt. It's just really hard. But this is what Tomlin does every single time. Like, he does it. So it's not a game where I'd go. I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't.
By the way, the Bears are +1. I mean, the number is just absolutely
hilarious.
As we're on the air, this number is completely.
Well, I don't think the books
apart.
know what to do with this. Like, they're like, all right. I mean, who knows? It's very
avalanche.
Weird,
There's an avalanche of money coming in here on the Bears right now.
Of course,
it is just crushing.
And the Bears, because the Bears are not a terrible team, especially with Fields. Starting to figure things out
at home
bit,
too.
Right?
So you're at home. You got. I mean, everything's kind of pointing. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, all of my right now, my favorite Wong teaser plays. I mean, did you like the Bills to win the game, just not cover today?
I think so, Matt. But I don't. Here, can we walk through the Wong teasers? Let's talk about what the options are, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's really hard. So like 49 is the total, right?
Yeah.
So the games that qualify, they have to qualify. You could give the Jaguars 13 at home. Okay. Mm-hmm. That would qualify. Or you could take the Niners down to 1 just to win. That qualifies. Okay. You could go ahead and give the Jets 10 at no, sorry, because it's over 3. So no, that doesn't qualify. You could give Washington 9, 42.5. So you give Washington 9, that qualifies.
Okay.
You could give the Bears 7, that qualifies. You could give the Saints 9, that qualifies.
Okay.
You could give the Vikings 7.5.
Okay.
You could give the Cardinals 9.
Okay.
And you could give on either side Steelers to +12 or Chargers minus or on a pick qualifies.
So, I mean, the one I like the most is Saints getting 9. For me personally, it's real, right? It's just real tough to see the Eagles completely blowing the doors off right now of this team. This is not going to be
So would you go Saints Raiders?
Personally?
Because you like the Raiders. So would you give the Raiders +7 and have them go?
Is it 7 or 7.5 now?
It would be 7.5. It would be because it's +1.5. Raiders are +1.5. So you cross 7. No, sorry. Actually, you couldn't do it. Sorry, because it's 15.5. Doesn't qualify. Sorry. Doesn't qualify.
So with that, Matt, I don't know, dude. Are the 49ers really going to come out here and lose to the Jaguars? Is that really going to happen to us right now? Are we going to be looking so far past this game, coming off that one, and lose to the Jaguars? Really? Is that a possibility? I
don't think it's a possibility personally.
I don't either. That's my second, Matt. That's the one that I like as the second, personally.
So you'd go Niners -1, and you'd go Saints +9. Yes. Now,
wait, is it 1 or is it a half? Is it a half for the night? Because it's 6.5 where I'm looking at. Is it 7? The Niners?
It's 7 at FanDuel. I'm staring at right now. So I'm looking at FanDuel just because it's the most of a readily available book for people. But let me look and see where Vegas is.
Yeah.
On this
I don't know if they've moved it right now.
Well, I like it even more. If it's a half a
that's
point.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I thought it was a half a point. Hold on,
let me see. So you're looking at 7 in Vegas.
Oh yeah, it's 7 at DraftKings, it's 7 at FanDuel, but 6.5 at BetMGM. It looks like, right?
So it's a better number there. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see.
And points bet, it's at 6.5, but it is the majority of books are at 7, Matt. There are a few 6.5 still out there.
Let me see what Circa's at here in Vegas. If they've gone to 7, yeah, they're at 7 as well. So Vegas, Vegas is at 7.
I'll take it at 1. I mean, I'd take it at 1 still.
Yeah, I mean, I work you push. So Niners -1.
Yes,
because 45.5. I don't mind that. And then we're going Saints +9. I'm 42.5. That number is so low.
I'm betting it with you. Right at 9. Right at 9. Because, and by the way, I mean, the bet, what I love about the Saints is like, okay, God forbid something happens, like your starting quarterback, Trevor Siemian. Okay, like Taysom Hill takes over and it's basically a net positive, right?
Right.
So, I
mean, again, I like the Saints to win the game outright. So, I mean, I'm on the Saints personally. I took 2.5. I love the 3. So, giving them to 9. I mean,
all right, I'm trailing you right now, bud. I'm betting it right now. Wong teaser for days. Wong teaser for days. Taking some of the Bryce Harper MVP money that I won.
There you go. Nice job.
Oh yeah, that was a nice little +3.
What was number you? What number you got on that?
Oh, the story on that, Matt. And I'll go very quickly. Joe Pisapia, who's host of BettingPros on. We're on doing a baseball podcast, and he goes, we haven't talked about this, but I think Bryce Harper's decent shot for MVP. It's +3,000 right now. I was like, all right. I mean, at this point, it wasn't much. He homers that night. The next morning, it's +1,800. He says, we're doubling down on it at +1,800. We hit it again. He homers again the next day, +700. Never got back up again. Or 2 days later, maybe it was like +700. It dropped significantly because all of a sudden there was also an article written about it from like a noted baseball writer who said, this is the bet. And then it went. So it was great. So we got it at +3,000 and +1,800. And by the time like 2 weeks later, it was like at like +300 or something like that. Anyway, yeah, that's the bet. All right. So that's the official Wong tee. You want me to put it up here? Let me put it up so I can get it.
Minus 120.
Wong teaser.
7-4 on the year.
Oof, I love it, Matt. I love nothing makes me more excited than the Wong teaser. And everybody, obviously. Saints +9 and 49ers -1.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. There we go. It's up. Beautiful. So what, by the way, so we didn't take, do you have any feel on the Chargers laying 6? Forget about the teaser piece of it. Chargers laying 6 on Monday.
I think you put it properly. Like what do you do?
Sunday. Sorry. Yeah.
Like what do you do with a team that loves to beat underdogs? Like the Steelers. I've been wrong on the Steelers. I mean, I have under 8.5 wins on the Steelers. So I'm cheering for the Chargers big time to win the game. I mean, I want LA big time. Yeah. I just don't. This is where Mike Tomlin, you're absolutely right. This is where Mike Tomlin lives. He loves to be a dog.
Is the spot. And it won't call a narrative. Like, just look at what he has done since he has been the head coach of the Steelers. He has knocked 1 million people out of their survivor pools, right? Because they come in at like 11-point favorites and the team comes out flat. Ben's back, but also, could we see some effects from Ben? Remember, Ben had symptoms. That's a thing with COVID, right? It wasn't just he randomly got tested. He self-reported. It takes guys sometimes a little while. They might be short of breath. It's too hard for me to back the Steelers, man. It really is. So I wouldn't be crazy if you tease them down to a pick. So
my geo targeting on my phone is when I'm in the basement here, the lab. It doesn't, the books don't like me, so I get the spinning wheel of death that I'm staring at the moment for me to post my bet the Wong teaser.
All right, Matt, so somebody's just coming in here before we leave said they missed the props. Give out the official props that you are playing once again.
Over 5.5 Christian McCaffrey receptions at even money. Over 46.5 yards receiving yards for Christian McCaffrey. Under 30.5 yards passing attempts for Jimmy Garoppolo. And we're taking over 64.5 rushing yards for David Montgomery.
I love it. All right, Matt, I feel good about today. I think it's going to be a good day for the juice. I think it's going to be a good day for us right here. If you have not subscribed, please do. We're giving away a Saquon Barkley helmet just for subscribing. You don't even have to watch if you don't want. I don't know why you wouldn't, but you don't have to watch. Woo! Woo! Just a signed Saquon Barkley helmet. I'll probably add some giveaways to it. All right. I want some subscribers to this channel. All you got to do is subscribe and then go to bettingpros.com/helmet. That's it. That's all you got to do. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Now, guys, next week on Thanksgiving, we're off. Okay. I'm sorry. This spot, you're right. Hold on. I do have to point this out for this person.
Well,
correct. This live stream. Did this live stream even happen? We didn't hear Dan's garage door open. It's a fair point. My wife is currently running a half marathon at this moment.
Good
so
for her.
She fucking burps a half.
Where?
Pardon me. Oh, goodness. She burps a half marathon. In Newburyport, I think, like down, somewhere around there. I apologize so much for cursing. I'm sorry. I've been up forever. Whatever.
Who's going to care? It's a 21 plus. Otherwise,
it's a family show, Matt.
You shouldn't be here.
I apologize. I really am sorry. I'm very, very tired. Anyway. So yes, I'm sorry. No garage door here on this one. You guys are good. Yes, we'll all get together in Vegas. And so no Sunday live stream next week, guys. Matt,
wait. What do you mean we're all going to get together in Vegas? What's that?
Somebody's asking if we can all get together in Vegas and pick the helmet.
Well, I've been wanting to do this. You told me. I'll publicly out this conversation. You know how I have been asking for a Daily Juice BettingPros meeting for a year. I've been asking for this.
There's been a global pandemic. Okay. We're getting past it. Everybody's back after my Hawaii trip, bud. After my Hawaii trip.
When you go to Hawaii?
February, Hawaii.
Oh,
you want to come?
Where are you going?
Flying into Oahu, of course,
right,
spending one night there so that Will can go to Pearl Harbor because he would not be happy.
Wow.
Then we are going to
awesome. Pearl Harbor is amazing.
The Big Island, I think, for 6 nights, and then Maui for 7.
Damn, you're going for 2 weeks?
So ready?
Look at you.
Good advice to fathers, okay? When a global pandemic hits, and you're uncertain whether or not you'll get to take your usual February vacation, which you take so your wife doesn't divorce you because she hates the cold. Do not say to your daughter, you know what, sweetheart, I hope we get to take a vacation. If not, I promise you, the next year we'll do something really big. And then she says, like Hawaii? And I'm like, yeah, sure. It's fine. Yeah, like Hawaii. And then we don't get to vacation. And then they hold your feet to the fire. And if you're going to Hawaii, Matt, from the East Coast, you go big. Right? Like,
no, I mean, I've gone to Hawaii twice in both times. Went for a week both times, and it is to get the 6-hour flight on just from Boston to LA, and then the 6-hour flight from LA to Oahu.
Are you ready? How do you feel about direct?
Who flies direct to Oahu in New England?
Hello, my wife. There's a direct JetBlue now. Direct flight
to Hawaii.
11 and a half hours. Bang.
My wife can't know that. Yeah. She'll be very angry. Although, I mean, because we haven't gone to Hawaii yet here in Vegas.
It's new. It's a new one. Okay. That's what we're doing.
That's incredible.
Yes. So
that's not bad, though. 11 and a half hours isn't bad.
You can live with it. Let's hope the Wong teaser hits so I could pay for some of it. All right. Let's go Wong teaser all day long. All right, guys. We love you. We'll be in Discord all the time. Anyway, next Sunday, we're going to be off on this one. Matt and I are both traveling for Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So we're not going to be able to do it on that Sunday. We'll be back the weekend after. You guys are great. Thank you so much for coming by. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll talk to you.